This is for Cameron. Cam. I hope you guys all had a happy new year, a Merry Christmas, and everything in between. Mountaineer Paul has been talking to a couple of players that are currently in the transfer portal. I have been able to confirm that they will be coming January 6th to the 8th weekend, which is a big recruiting weekend for the Mountaineers. I've got proof as usual. You guys know it by now. If I have proof and I'm able to show it, I do. In this case, I do. I've been talking to some of these players. They have confirmed with me what they're going to do. We're going to talk about that on the other side of the intro on this episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. What is up, guys? Welcome in. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and you've landed yourself again here at Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. I really hope you guys had a great holiday. I hope that you had a great new year. I hope you spent it with loved ones, and I hope you didn't have too much turmoil in your life. Mine has gone okay as far as myself. I was able to spend my holidays with family, amongst people that I love and cherish, and I truly hope that you guys were able to do that. Do me a favor before we get started, guys. I do a lot of work for you guys. I try to bring you guys good content when I can and honest content. For that, I would ask that you like the video. And also, if you're not subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, please do me a favor. Drop a comment and subscribe to the channel. It'd mean a lot. It really would. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers still. Now, let's talk about these players. I have been able to talk to a total of 2 players. Actually, I've been able to talk to more, but I've been able to get answers out of 2 players. One is for sure coming for the recruiting weekend from the 6th to the 8th, and the other was supposed to be setting that up. And so I'll show you guys what little bit I can. As I've told these guys in most cases that I won't share everything we talked about, just enough to educate you guys on who's showing up, what they're all about, give you a little history on these guys. And let me tell you guys, both of these players will be upgrades over whoever we had in these spots last year. Although I am really hyped about Raleigh Collins. I want to say that right now. I think he's going to be a good football player. The player I think is going to replace him has a chance to be an all-conference type of player. So let's just move on with this, talk about these 2 players. Okay, as you can see right here, I've been able to have a conversation with this guy. He is a Utah State transfer. I posted it on Twitter here the last couple of weeks. I posted an update to that today, so probably not a huge surprise that this is coming. But DG, Daniel Gzresiak, is transferred from Utah State. He has a long list of suitors, Cincinnati included in that. He's been able to set up recruiting weekends to a couple of schools thus far, Cincinnati being one of those. He was able to show me in this message here that yes, he is going to be setting up a visit to West Virginia to see our awesome facilities. As I always like to put that to these guys. I always try to sell the facilities. I know I'm no coach or recruiter, but I try to do what I can. My little part, right? At the end of the day, I'm trying to do my little part, whatever that is. I'm not affiliated with the university, but I try my damnedest. Gzresiak's an interesting player. Really good bandit type player. You could say that Utah State used him situationally. He wasn't on the field all 3 downs all the time, but he was on the field a lot, enough to amass quite the stat sheet for the year. On the year, he had 51 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 2 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, 23rd in the country with 8.5 sacks. Now, I was able to watch tape on this guy. I watched him against Fresno State. They had Hayner running for his life all day long in that football game. These guys played Alabama. This dude is for real. Go turn on the tape against Alabama and see if you don't see if Gzresiak's not in the backfield during that game, because he was. He was in the backfield against Alabama. So I don't want to hear anything about, oh, he's from Utah State. If you can't tell, players like Josiah Stewart signing with Michigan, it's all about identifying who fits in your system. And you can look and do an eye test and see this guy explode off the line of scrimmage, get upfield, and use pass rushing moves. That's all we need in the bandit spot. But this guy can get after the passer. He gets upfield in a hurry, and then he's able to he can cut back inside. He's got a nice swim move. He goes over the top sometimes with it. He's got a couple of different moves that I've seen on tape, and he's probably got more that I didn't see. I didn't watch every game they played this year, but I'll tell you this. Fresno State, who was a good football team this year, had to double him. They had to double him. So that speaks volumes, in my opinion, for Daniel Gzresiak, and would absolutely be a huge pickup for the Mountaineers, in my opinion. But he's really what you want for a bandit linebacker, right around that 6 foot range. I'll tell you another thing I like about this guy. He's had to work to get where he's at. He really has. He's gone around it the hard way. He's only able to spend 1 year at Utah State before he's moved on. So wherever he goes to, like he told me, if I can find it, I'll put it up here without compromising the video. I don't have the text message. I'm obviously going to put it up in edit. But he was telling me in our conversation, all he wants to do is get to the league. And I think West Virginia gives him a good chance to do that. We've had guys go from that spot to the league before. We got Bruce Irvins and people like that. So like I said, guys, I am really excited about this kid. Really want to see him in a Mountaineer uniform. All right, guys, moving on. The next player I'm excited about, and I am just as excited about this player, Keyshawn Cobb. Keyshawn and I have been talking on and off for a couple weeks. He's a really good kid. He's really forthcoming about this situation. I really appreciated him talking with me. He's coming to visit the 6th and the 8th. It's going to be a key visit for the Mountaineers. He plays that spear position. He played at Buffalo, and he caused absolute havoc for the Bulls on the defensive side of the football to the tune of 56 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 1 interception, 7 passes defended. He was all over the field for Buffalo. We know Lance Leipold coached there just not even a couple years ago. We know how well coached those guys were. Another thing I really like about Keyshawn Cobb is he has 2 years left. Unfortunately, the guy before him, Gzresiak, he's a grad transfer and only has 1 year left. It's been a focus of the coaching staff, I think, to get players with multiple years remaining. It's hard to get acclimated to a system and really make the most possible impact in year one. I mean, you see it happen at TCU this year where they've just had a bunch of transfers hit. But what a lot of people don't know is those were kids that came over from SMU and followed Sonny Dykes to Texas Christian. And what a mixture that's been. So not always going to happen. You see the practice of some coaches trying to hire assistants solely based off of who can transfer with them. And that can have a beneficial effect, especially if it's a similar or same offensive or defensive system. That's not exactly the case here, but it is a similar position for Keyshawn Cobb in the spear position. Definitely played a very similar role, hybrid linebacker role. If you look up Keyshawn Cobb, I think there's even on his Twitter page a conversation he had with a Buffalo media person about his role within the defense, and he really breaks down what he does within the Buffalo defense. And it's exactly kind of what they call it, a hybrid linebacker that plays with the corners and the safeties. He did say that he kind of hung out with the corners and safeties. So we see what Keyshawn Cobb views himself as, but he is a kind of defender that plays closer to the line of scrimmage and certainly is a key piece of this defense that Jordan Leslie runs. I would argue that these are the 2 biggest pieces to the defense, the bandit and the spear, right? These are 2 players that could be starting roles for the Mountaineers next year if they're able to pull this thing off. So what do you guys think, guys? Are you guys happy with the 2 guys that I brought up for you guys today? Drop a comment below. Let me know how you feel about it. Really like to get some feedback from you guys on these players. Really interesting prospects for the Mountaineers, and I think two players that could really make a big difference on the field. These two players are come from good cultures and winning cultures, so it wouldn't be a bad take on that either. So really, all the way around, just great pickups if the Mountaineers can get them. Certainly, I'll keep you updated as we go. Hopefully, the Mountaineers are able to land these guys, like you said. Excited about these guys. Let me know below. And like I said, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate that, guy. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers for the year's end. Like the video, guys. If you can't do anything else, just like the video. Really appreciate it, guys. Also, guys, as you can see below, scrolling below me on the screen here, at Paul Mountaineer is how you can find me on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter and interact with me on there, ask me how some of the recruits are doing, some of the recruits you may want to know about, if I have any intel. So sometime from time to time, I'll share that kind of stuff. Just all depends on if I can or not, right? If I give my word to somebody, I try to keep it. All right, guys, that'll be it for me on this episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. This episode is over, and I am out.
This is for Cameron. Tim Cal.